Cycle 6, of course, and what is, of course, the final weekend on top of that. That means we are down to 4 teams here in cycle number 6 of 8 cycles total. So you do the math right there. It's pretty simple in the end, but we're getting near the end here as far as the regular season's concerned, as, of course, only 2 more cycles going to be played after this. Yeah, we are excited to be here. Obviously, hopefully you guys are as well. A brand new week ahead of us. Again, top 4 teams remaining, and looking at the brackets right here real quickly before we jump into the match that we're going to be casting here. Obviously, we got the match that we are casting, Reason Gaming versus Nullstone Gaming, and what is the losers bracket round 3. They're going to be both playing to move on and get at least a top 3 place finish. They'll face the loser of what is the winner bracket finals of course, Sync Esports versus Willowkeeper. So 4 very, very good teams going at it here on what has definitely been a crazy cycle. And we'll definitely kind of recap it throughout the cast here today, I'm sure. But boy, oh boy, good to be back here for another weekend. And can't be more excited. With that said, I'm sure also being excited, the one and only Mini-Maggot here. How's it going, man?
Yeah, man, I'm incredibly excited as well. Really looking forward to this game in particular. And just for today as well, man, obviously we got Tree and Sync later today as well, I believe.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Right,
good, right? Just making sure the schedule. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. And it's the highlight of my week breaking casting with you. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it's obviously some good fun, definitely, and you know, a little bit of just not to talk about the near future too much here, but again, this is going to be our final weekend here for a little bit. Obviously, we got the holidays coming up and everything. At least as far as Han Tour goes, this will be the final weekend until Cycle 7, which is actually going to be, I believe, even 3 weeks out. You know, starts up earlier on in January. So, you know, kind of another reason why we really should extra enjoy this weekend, because it's going to be the last, again, at least for Han Tour action. That's going to be coming at us. But, you know, obviously last weekend, what a crazy start it was here to this cycle. The big note being Bad Monkey Gaming knocked down to Gold Division as a result of their finish. They actually got knocked out by, go figure, this Nullstone Gaming team that is actually here right now at this point. Again, the brackets themselves just turned out to be pretty crazy, because once again shown on your guys' screen. But that's the past, though. We got to talk about, again, these two teams going at it here in Reason versus Nullstone. I mean, Nullstone, they've had a lot of momentum lately in terms of they've been getting some very solid finishes. Again, a huge win over BMG to knock them to gold early in the cycles we just mentioned. But Reason Gaming, also a team with a lot of momentum right now. I'm very intrigued even to see how these two teams match up against one another.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think although Nullstone Gaming have been doing this good and all, but I really think Reason, I don't know, I've just got a feeling that they're going to be taking this matchup. I don't know why, I've just got this weird feeling, and they've been playing fantastic over the last couple of weeks. They really have improved and sort of matured as well after that gold cycle that they had, obviously, last cycle, and a Clanks pickup as well, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pro.
That's they're taking a page out of Willowkeeper's book right there. Of course, Baltasar of Willowkeeper knowing to play that Clanks, and I believe we even saw them play the last cycle, or not last cycle, last weekend, I should say. Again, he was banned for a couple of cycles there as due to a bug that was found, but he's back. Of course, that was fixed, and this is a hero that clearly has become of interest for a lot of players here on the competitive scene. So.
Yeah, I mean, the hero is really, really good. He farms very, very quickly and has a sort of a skill set that not a lot of the heroes have in terms of sort of a lot of burst potential in terms of his team fight. If he gets enough items, and the Hawk, man, is so good for sort of sniping enemy ancients as well. Nice little escape mechanism, but anyway.
Hey, guess what? We get to see Rally here. Reason Gaming, they've been playing a bit of Rally recently, and sure enough, they go it again here, so... Wombo combo potential is real, of course, that on top of the Behemoth. Now, you know, it is interesting to see both Swiftblade and the Clanks, but again, we've seen a lot of this lately. Swiftblade being ran as that suicide potential hero. Clanks will probably end up being the short lane, I'm sure, here, played by Imbo Boy. So, but it gives you two kind of options as far as late game carry potential goes.
Yeah. I mean, they have like a dual core lineup, as you're saying, and they've got definitely the lockdown to sort of build around it as well. Obviously, they've got Rayleigh, Behemoth, perhaps all decent lockdown. And the one issue with like Clanks and Swiftblade is that they can't really kill heroes by themselves in that respect unless they get the good lockdown in terms of team fight. So, and Reason have built around that. So yeah, a solid draft, most likely. They could run a dual mid with Rhapsody, Rally, or they could just run a standard tri-lane bottom and maybe try and make some ganks rotating over. But there's a Gemini pick, actually. I mean, Oogie was obviously banned, so
yeah,
it's got to be the Gemini as a result.
Yeah. we didn't really go too much over the bans there. A lot to talk about, of course, but as you see in the bans, very interesting stuff, including one that's really standing out to me now, that Bushwhack ban even by Nullstone Gaming. Not Bushwhack, not your typical carry hero nowadays, but perhaps Crazy Gaming has been doing some practice with it. I know in the Southeast Asian scene, though, Bushwhack is like the carry in the Southeast Asian scene. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's picked up or banned every single game, it feels like, from my understanding over there. So, bans here anyways. But, yeah, the final pick, Gemini, as you mentioned, coming out. They also got the Solstice on top of that. So here we go. This is obviously game number 1 of a best out of 3 here. Going to be coming at you between these two teams to try to keep moving things along in what is cycle number 6 now at this point. And one other thing to note, too, of course, myself and Waza, it was this last Monday. We actually hopped on Honcast here and kind of teased a little bit about what's going to be coming up in the next patch. A couple of things amongst many. One of the things that we did bring up, though, was that Swiftblade is going to be getting some nerfs here in the upcoming patch. And I think, exactly, understandably so. So, let's just say, I think he may still be picked up even after the nerfs.
Oh, yeah, the hair is still good. Yeah.
It's something to think about. What is this
retarded.
here? What is this here? Pain Train coming out.
They need Behemoth to stun with the Fisher, but he's the third behind. Yeah. If Behemoth was... Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. They're going to go for this. Solstice. Is he going to get locked off right here? Flashbang comes
God.
out.
Look
and
at that
a nice block on his Solstice right there. He's forced to go the other direction. Spin comes out for Swiftblade as well. Can he get any team support? It doesn't look like it. Another bang and down goes Solstice. TPS priceless. Gets the Bloodlust kill. Very good train right there. Yeah, big Behemoth Fisher Stun coming out.
Man, that's the Nier I know, man. Like whenever he's on Behemoth, man, he just absolutely just so clutch in his plays. But yeah, decent rotation from Reason. And I don't think enough teams do this. Like sometimes I see him sort of rotate into the enemy jungle perhaps to try and play some wards. But with the heroes that Reason have, they have a great level 1 engagement as you just saw there. Particularly with obviously the catch potential, the Rally Compel onto the Fisher from Behemoth.
Yeah.
Guarantee the death, and they're going to do an aggressive dual lane up top actually with Rally. And the something that I've mentioned before, like whenever you have Rally, you can run an aggressive dual lane because obviously the Compel you can use it on your allies. So the support always has an escape mechanism just because of Rally being there, kind of thing. So it allows you to do an aggressive dual lane, and it can work as well. Gemini and Empath not the strongest laning phase, and Solstice will be busy farming as well. So. A decent start. Yeah,
they're running the 2-1-2 setup here. As actually top lane, speaking of that, the aggressive dual lane definitely making some plays early on. And Gemini feeling the pressure. Now, bottom lane, you see a block off on a Bubbles right there. Of course, he has a Shell Surf, but he's not going to panic use it. Fuzzyslot doing a pretty good job, actually, even denies a creep in the process. And then eventually Shell Surfs away to safety. But yeah, running a secondary support Behemoth, but again, not as your typical secondary support Behemoth. A few times we have seen it in this kind of role. You see the pull, or maybe a little bit jungling going on, or maybe even a tri-lane action. But no, being a main support for the Clanks down here in a sense, a babysit. How do you think this will work out for Nier? Is this going to be as powerful Behemoth as we maybe used to see?
Well, I mean, he'll probably have a little less farming potential, but he might try and rotate mid, for example, and just get his levels where he can in terms of his pulling. So he's going to pull a little bit, and it can work though. Like if it was a tri lane down here, then I don't think it would work because there wouldn't be enough experience going around. But he's going to start pulling here now. That's going to obviously reduce Bubbles' impact in this lane, and you can do like with a melee support. As long as you have like a range carry hero, you can run a melee support in the short lane, and that's what they're going to do here.
Yeah.
He might get like level 2 or level 3, maybe rotate mid with the Swiftblade, for example.
All right, yeah. Swiftblade being mid in the first place, now that you mentioned that, is also very, very not what we're used to see. Either the short or definitely the suicide, it seems like where Swiftblade ends up. But again, because what you're talking about there, one, to send the aggressive dual lane top with the Rally Rhapsody. So, hey, Swiftblade just ends up mid, and seems like he's doing fairly well here against Magnus. 10-1 so far against the Magnus, who's 7-2 actually, even now 12-1. So Embry, seems like he knows what he's doing, pretty comfortable being in the middle matchup here. And actually, top rune action, that's a haste rune. Solstice going to protect it, though, and eventually pick it up. He's coming to the top lane. They want to set something up right here. Rally, he might be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to compel, of course, through the wall. And he will be fine as a result. Solstice, I almost think that's a Pebbles for a split second because of that skin. But no, it is actually Solstice, so not able to do much right there as far as assist.
That's just good lane control coming out from Reason. If they're like up here, away from the 2-1 tower, that would have been a definite kill, even if Rally compelled, for example. So just good lane control. Definitely needed, obviously, against aggressive dual lanes, so things like that can't happen, for example.
Swiftblade, again, spinning to get some more farm. He has the early bottle, of course, and that's going to allow him to use that spin more frequently here to perhaps farm. And again, the middle lane, it's kind of nice that you have that that luxury. As you know, if he's the bottom lane, he wouldn't be spinning to take out the creep wave, because that would just, well, push the creep wave and help the suicide hero out. In this case, being middle lane, it's not nearly as much of a fault to be able to do that. So
exactly. I think in the bottom lane, though, like, as long as Behemoth can have equal levels to Bubbles, I think they're going to be in a decent position. Because you never want like your melee support just to be completely underleveled or underfarmed. But if you can stay equal with Bubbles, which is kind of hard to do, obviously, because it's 2 versus 1, but if you can do that, it'd be in a good position. He should just keep on pulling and stacking as much as possible, and then try and have an impact in the lane. Because if he's just AFK farming and stacking, then Bubbles is 1v1 against the Clanks. So he has to have like a presence in almost all 3 of the lanes, mid, bottom, and obviously in the jungle as well. But obviously you can rely on near to do such a thing. So.
Yeah. See the Sword of Sight right here, placed by Bubbles. Again, one of the new this is the Ursa Core Ward of Sight, it looks like, here at the bottom lane. But yeah, gonna get some giving him some good vision throughout. Of course, Behemoth definitely spotted right here, so not much he's gonna be able to do to kind of sneak up on him. Obviously, a pause coming out again, though, guys. This is just the beginning of today, and ultimately the weekend, of course. Again, 4 teams remaining. The next match will definitely be that Sync versus Willowkeeper matchup that I know, once again, a lot of people always excited to see, and for good reason. It's I don't know, something tells me, man, Willowkeeper is looking very strong in Sync. You know, there's a lot of talk about how there's a lot of maybe not playing as much or serious even as they used to early on in the season. So
I was talking to Fusen the other day, actually, and something that I completely forgot about, though, is he said that I think the winner bracket matchup is almost nearly as important, if not more important, than the grand final itself. The reason being is he said if you come from the losers bracket finals up into the grand finals, you have to play 2 big matches on the same day. And he said to me that has such a big impact in terms of like your concentration and playing. And he said if we come from the losers bracket, like, we are not in a good position to take out Sync in obviously the grand finals. But if we beat him in the winners bracket finals, I think we can beat him in the grand finals. So yeah, I guess words from himself that the winners bracket final will be very, very important, for example.
Oh, I 100% agree. I can see where they're coming from. Not only that, but again, the obvious that you're down 1-0 if you come for the losers bracket. So yeah, that's a really, I've never really thought about it that way.
I never thought about no, exactly.
Having to play 2 big matches in that same day compared to just the one. So
and he said like normally the matches are like almost 20 minutes apart, and he said you play so much worse. But so yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I was just picking his brain for a while, but on top lane.
Oh yeah, Magnus regenerate battle right there. You do see Rhapsody ends up getting it, of course, and they're gonna box out Magnus. No kill coming out, but we'll be fine in the end. So, but Bubbles, he also took some good pressure at the bottom lane, but once again, he does survive using that take cover and the shell surf to ultimately get away right there. Swiftblade, though, he actually is on top of the GPM charts right now, 337 gold per minute. He actually is not level 6 yet, but I was going to say it's very close to them. In fact, there you go. One more creep in. Sure enough, hits a level 6. And you see Magnus playing a little more defensive. Magnus doesn't have that steam bath either right here, so he does need to be a little careful about possibly getting caught out. So, and currently only being about half life here.
It's an interesting matchup, Swiftblade versus Magnus, because normally you'd always give Magnus the upper hand, obviously, because it's melee versus melee. But with Swiftblade, he's kind of the exception. The reason being is because he can just spin onto the wave, and when he spins onto the wave, then the lane will all automatically push. So Magnus can't really get a lot of the volcanic touch, hits off, and so Swiftblade won't be harassed in that respect. And so normally Swiftblade is one of those exceptions in a melee versus melee matchup, just because he pushes the wave.
Oh, wow, top lane. Yeah, Rhapsody, maybe no. The wall off, of course, not enough, and the wall doesn't go across the whole lane right here, unfortunately. So, Empath not able to cut her off, and she will be fine. So, how is Gemini continuing to kind of pick things up? He's 30-2. He actually is the top farmer on his team, of course. Magnus middle lane, no, he's going to be fine. But Gemini, doing his best to compete at least and to make a statement that he's going to be, of course, the hard carry ultimate Beaver Banger comfortable on this hero. No doubt, though, it's a dangerous lane in this Rally Rhapsody, but it doesn't seem like they're accomplishing as much as they would have liked here at this time. Do you think that's almost as expected as how it's going, or should they have actually
I
Not
think
kill her.
they could have perhaps. I don't think they can kill him because like Gemini and Empath normally have quite decent escape mechanisms, and Legion they don't have the damage per se. But I think they should be doing a little bit better in terms of farm though, because like they run the aggressive jungle, if not to kill the enemy's short lane, it's just to sort of stop them farming. But Beaverbang has got nearly 330 GPM, almost as much as if they weren't here in this lane altogether. Obviously they are sort of fighting against the Solstice as well, but it's just awkward in that respect. But at the same time, there's not much else they could have laned it. Like if Rhapsody comes bottom, like they would be incredibly out farmed in terms of golden experience, for example.
Yeah.
At least in this way, it does give Rally a little bit of farm in that respect. So I mean, they should lose it, but perhaps do a little bit better than they are at the moment.
Yeah. Gemini AC is level 6. He actually does get that fire and ice ability, so we'll see if he makes use of that here sooner than later. Swiftly, those are just illusions in the jungle. The real one, of course, at the middle lane. As we can tell, bottom lane, it looks like they might be going for a kill attempt, but just on the wrong side. Not that it really would have mattered again with the shell surf, so Bubble's going to be fine once again. Look at this, though. Wild Rock coming up from Magnus. Now he's going to be spotted by Magnus right there. Or by Behemoth, excuse me, but no. Magnus choosing not to go in. Yeah, that was a risky move by Nier, but actually did not backfire in the end. Despite him tower diving. So yeah, there's our first action or instance of Veiled Rock coming out for what is our second weekend here. Unfortunately, unsuccessful, but hey, it's worth trying, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more. Immoboy, though, pushing the bottom tower. He's now 400 gold per minute. And again, Clank's already a very, very powerful flash farmer. Is off to a fantastic start here. Middle lane, Magnus, he might be in a little bit of trouble. Swiftplay kind of running on top, putting in the auto attack, almost trying to bait out a stun. There we go, Rhapsody, though. Not the best angle, and actually will be fine, too. So we remain at a 1-0 hero kill game here.
All from the start, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Magnus.
Oh, maybe 2-0. Magnus, he's in trouble once again. No, but the stun out. So slashes, though. He doesn't want to dive right there. Too risky.
But actually, Behemoth has actually managed to be the same level as Bubbles, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things here for Reason Gaming, because not only does he have a decent impact now, he's got like decent experience, but also shuts down Bubbles completely. Bubbles only like 130 GPM, and kind of he was 1v1 against Clanks, so I have to admit, the Reason have done very, very good in their bottom lane, out farming the Gemini as well. So although they are lacking a little bit in terms of experience because Solstice is level 7 compared to say Rhapsody level 7, I think they're in a decent situation at this time for Reason.
Yeah. Rally. Uh-oh. That's, jeez. Cholo Samian had a trouble last weekend, too, as far as staying connected. So, unfortunately, just having some internet issues there. Hopefully, one of these cases again, where as it did happen last week, eventually able to come back. And
the Libyan internet.
Yeah, again, our only a South American player in at least Diamond Division at this time. And, representing very well, I think it's safe to say.
Oh, yeah, he's a great player.
He's kind of like almost a Slicks kind of player in a sense, where, he has to play with a high latency no matter what game it is. Even on a USC server, he still gets like the highest ping usually, around 250 or so, I believe. So, but he makes it work, and he usually plays these aggressive roles, too. So, it's always interesting to see that.
Yeah. He got a bit wrecked middle lane by Swiftblade, but like I said before, that's almost to be expected. Swiftblade is just a great hero against melee. Swiftblade's a great hero regardless any kind of lane, to be fair, but particularly against Magnus, because like I said, like Magnus obviously wants to get up in front of the creep wave, so he can get good volcanic touches off, but Swiftblade will just box him out with the blade frenzy, so kind of hard in that respect.
Yeah, well, Quincy may want to start tracking something like that, the whole disconnect stats. I'm sure Cholo Simon would be up there with Keizu as far as that stat's concerned. So, oh yeah. By the way, guys, yeah, I apologize. I've got some trying to clear my throat out here. Anyways,
it's not me, Breaky.
I know, right? That's it. We've been casting so long today already. The Honcast, the 2014 awards. I know we were talking about it last weekend, and ideally want to try to get something out for this week, but things let's just say it's been a very busy week for a lot of reasons. So, and we'll definitely find out why next week. But, anyways, the point being, this week though we should have the nominees all good to go and presenting to you guys as far as getting the community vote now and having an impact on ultimately who's going to win what. And I know you were part of that meeting as well in the sense of kind of going over all the nominees and everything for these categories, and really a lot of fun. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how that ultimately turns out, and I'm excited to see how the community kind of reacts to it and gives their opinion on who they think deserves what. So, But so there's that to look forward to. But then, of course, there's also good old patch 3.6 to look forward to. That's going to be coming out this Wednesday, guys. So.
Oh man, that Martyr and Monarch, man, they look so strong.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They look so strong from what it sounds like. Oh my god.
Well, yeah. Again, if you didn't get the chance, guys, it's both on the Honcast YouTube. The full show, it's about an hour long. Myself and Waz sat down. We went over like 7 or 8 changes. There's also a couple of clips on the Heroes of New Earth YouTube of actually specific ones, such as the ones you mentioned there, Monarch, Martyr, and I believe we also cut one up of Midas as well. Definitely heroes that are getting some pretty solid buffs, and Martyr and Monarch especially getting reworks, and yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, those two heroes, they're going to be
that Martyr looks really cool, by the way. With it's kind of like he has, what is it, the W or is it the R that is like the Gladiator kind of ulti, which kind of like reduces or deals the damage later, doesn't it?
The W, yeah, the wings, yeah.
Right, it was so funny because after that day where you were, obviously talking about it with Waza, I was sort of theory crafting, right? And now I think carry a curse can actually work. Just think about it, right? So you put the W on a curse, and the curse takes loads of damage, and when the damage is about to be like dealt in, you just click R, and then all the damage just heals you back up to full.
Yeah, I don't know.
Martyr plus the carrier curse is coming, boys. It's coming.
It seems like it could be really strong. Yeah, no, that's going to be... Well, the craziest thing about it, too, is that those heroes, both Martyr and Monarch, they're going to be eligible for tournament rules right away. There's not going to be a phase of like, oh, well, we'll give you time to adapt to it. Waz is just like, you know what, guys? Do it. Have fun. Again, there will just be a natural break like we were talking about of about 3 weeks here. So there will be some time. It's not like it's going to be completely like a one-day break, and also you have to know the hero. But yeah, so I'm most excited for that because honestly, both of those heroes, especially Monarch, I really could see being actually picked up in the competitive scene with these with the reworks there. So I mean, Monarch's always had a strong ultimate. It's just her skill set in general really has never been the most attractive for players. But now I think it's safe to say it's a little more attractive, especially with those wards and those bugs of theirs. Yeah. It's going to be fun to see how that turns out. Again, that's the patch coming out this way, and say so many more changes that haven't even been released yet or talked about. So, and there's of course a new hero coming out that we know now.
Oh yeah,
Calamity as well.
Oh dear, Solstice.
Yep. He might be in some trouble.
I don't know if he's got the damage.
I don't think he does. Yeah, Steam Boots, Ring of the Teacher. He needs some help. Rhapsody's kind of cool, but if Rhapsody comes over, she's going to be spotted.
Yeah, she might even die herself actually.
Oh yeah, wow, they're nearby. Uh-oh. Rhapsody in some trouble right here. There goes. Let's look at Rhapsody trying to drop quickly. Empath comes in with the line stun. There comes Gemini. They get the kill to Rhapsody. Can't still get one kill. Yes, he can. On a Solstice, he needs to run on. If actually he dies as well, this is going to be a big turnaround for Null stun. One more stun. There's the stun from Magnus, and down goes Swiftblade. Exactly the turn they were looking for on Nullstorm Gaming side.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a risky play, like going into the jungle. Like, obviously, it's most likely going to be warded, and then as a result, it was, and just good rotation coming from Nullstone, and that was definitely not worth it though. Like, I think obviously that the was it Rhapsody for Solstice was definitely worth it, but when you lose the Swiftblade as well, gives the Magnus the kill as well, gives him some way of getting back into the game. Like Magnus was like 200 GPM against like a 340 Swiftblade, but after that, leveled it out a little bit. So.
Evening the playing field right there, you could say. Bottom lane, great defense put up by Nullstone, and actually what you got manages to ultimately get the deny on the tower right there. So Magnus, he's actually going to get a Steam Boost delivered. Look at that, though. There's the Thunderclaw pick up by Clanks. I mean, if there is a hero that it seems like we have now in the competitive scene that's going to pick up a Thunderclaw, he's going to be that one hero, the savior, in a sense. So, yeah, no, he gets a Thunderclaw here, and again, it's for good reason. It's flash farming, just giving it so much stronger now.
Yeah, that is true, but also like I really like the synergy between the Lackey and the Thunderclaw, though, because obviously Thunderclaw gives a nice amount of attack speed, and obviously every single time you attack, then every single time the Lackey attacks as well. So, just good synergy with the whole hero. You want to just sort of almost max attack speed with the hero, and it just can wreck face. So.
Yeah, Lackey #1. You see the extra 60 magic damage it's applying. Basically every time it is upright or every auto attack there, yeah.
Yeah. If you have like insane attack speed, like it can do a lot. Like sometimes you even see like Elder Parasite on Clanks just for that reason. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, you figure that, and then on top of a Thunderclaw proc, it's 150 magic damage from that. So you're looking at 210 magic damage plus his auto attack. I mean, that's ridiculous. Every like 3 or 4 auto attacks, whatever it is, 4 I think for Thunderclaw. Yeah, 4 auto attacks or 5th even. Anyways, the point being, it's a lot of damage. very quickly. And in fact, he's going to go over to the Ancients right here again. We'll get an idea of how quickly he can clear these up again, just with the Thunderclaw by himself. I mean, you just see. This is a double stack Ancients right here. At level 9, he's getting cleaned up fairly easily in the end. How do you think he is going to follow this up? Will it be something like that Nullstone, you think? Or?
I think Nullstone is needed a little bit because, like you see, like he just farmed the Ancients and then he has to go back to base because he doesn't have the right regen, for example. And although there's not that many spells to sort of block it, it's decent perhaps in terms of maybe Magnus getting a Sheep Stick, for example, and you know, obviously stops one of the jumps from the Gemini Dogs as well. I think Nullstone's a decent follow-up as well. Just gives him overall nice regen. And he needs a little bit more tankability as well, so
yeah,
that would be fun.
So you can get the Mystic Vestments right there, so perhaps an Energizer for him or Swiftblade as well for that matter. So they both have the Soul Scream Ring, of course, so that wouldn't be out of the question. Double damage rune could be bottled up by Swiftblade. In the meantime, they head, triple stack Ancients. That could be stolen here. They want to go for a kill, though. What's up? Oh, top lane, yeah. Rally's actually in some trouble now. Solstice going on to him. No stun because it is a nighttime, and actually Rally will be able to compel away, and they cannot chase after. So good get away from Rally in the end. So slashes bottom lane. In the meantime, Bubbles, though, he shell surfs away. There was only one hit that hit him. And so he gets away back to the top lane. It ain't over. Rhapsody, she's going to get caught out. Very likely kill. No, the compelled the last second. Maybe survive. Dust comes out as well. The stun from Rhapsody. Big plays coming out from TBS Prices. Here comes Behemoth. Can he save the day? Rhapsody's going to get out. Poor coming in. Are they actually going to be able to turn this right here? Swiftblade. He comes in with a double damage. The Solstice ultimate completely whiffing right there. But now they know that he is here as a result. He is actually out of mana of a TP as a result of that too. Magnus still nearby though. He's going to go for the TP out. They both are trying. They both will be successful.
Man, that is so lucky. That could have ended up terribly there for a reason. At the start, obviously, it was just good play coming out from TPS Prices, though. They popped the dust and then stunned Solstice while he was charging, even though he was invisible. But, man, that was a massive dive from Nullstone. That could have been a lot worse, but luckily they had TPs. And I don't think Behemoth had mana. Just had it right at the end there, but overall, I think both sides get a little bit lucky in that respect.
Yeah. It's one of those cases, both sides, and it's like, all right, it's a little bit of sigh of relief. That could have gone much worse, but yeah, no one ultimately dying there as a result of the big plays coming out from either side. So, Clanks in the meantime, though, I mean, you look at that right there. He's level 11.
He can take these Ancients as well. One of the best enemy Ancients farmers because look, he can do this all the whole time. And unless they bring Bubbles and Magnus over, I mean, they are bringing them over now, but there's a lot of wasted resources, though. Like, Clanks can just, with the Hawk ability, he can just farm the enemy Ancients in no time. And a very, very good resource controller as a result.
Yeah, like you said, it's keeping them occupied, if anything.
Yeah.
Here on Nullstone Gaming side. So Clanks, you know, he's just going to keep kind of poking him right there. Empath is basically hugging the Ancients right now.
Exactly. Like, while Reason pushed mid as well, so Clanks might even go back over to the Ancients now after he's finished the farming the neutrals.
Yeah.
Just good rotations from Reason, splitting Nullstone apart almost.
Keeping them on their toes, and they get that tower kill right there. Yeah, that was that could have easily been a deny as well, but simply put, DPS Priceless just happened to get the last auto attack off, and as a result, picks up the kill right there. So not going to go to the Ancients right here as Clanks the City. He will just continue to farm his jungle. But in the end, as long as they're not doing the Ancients themselves, it's also, of course, a win for Reason Gaming here. So,
like, the hero is just so strong because he can just use this Hawk ability. Like, no other carry can really farm the enemy Ancients with that amount of sort of safe ability kind of thing. Like, otherwise, they have to commit themselves up that hill or up the other side, and they would be dead almost in that respect. But Clank's just decent and with the Hawk ability.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hawk. So obviously a big strength of Clanks and why he's considered or likable for several players here. And teams even on the competitive scene. Again, we've talked about this in the past as well, that Hawk ability. Still somewhat being kind of a hero we're ultimately getting used to, but it only, so the cooldown is decreased, or not the cooldown, but the duration is decreased whenever attacked. Now that is just auto attacks. It's not a magic ability. Say, like for example, like the Magnus Eruption, it will not lessen the duration. So it has to be straight up auto attacks, which actually doesn't even make it, of course, that much more powerful for
a little.
Clanks.
Yeah, a little fun fact actually. Hawk is actually a buff, so Parasite can actually steal it with Face Hug, and he can like cliff walk and stuff.
Can he really?
Yeah, yeah. It's really funny in that respect. So it'd be funny if we get to see a Clanks versus Parasite because it's actually a decent sort of spell to steal because like almost if you can jump on Clank, sort of burst him down, then take that away from him, you have like a getaway clause as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's actually pretty
kind of cool. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Magnus, he's farming the Ancients right here, using the Eruption, but wants that portal key. Gonna get basically all the farm right here. Good job by the team. So it's a good job by them ultimately. Again, they protected it from Clanks, and now Magnus gonna get it as a result. So, I mean, you figure if Clanks was able to steal that, if they didn't catch it in time, not only would Clanks have this much more gold, but Magnus wouldn't even be nearly this close to his portal key right now.
Exactly.
So it can.
Just all about resource control, and I mean, Immerboy's doing great, and I think he just didn't want to risk it. Like, he only does have like 700 HP when he's not on strength. Steam boots and like a Magnus stun into Kelpfield could be enough to catch him in that respect. But he actually looks like he's going to go Geos as well, which is decent. He could follow up with a Null Stone, but probably he's going to dodge it now and maybe go for a Shrunken instead.
Yeah,
which is fun.
So maybe no Null Stone against Null Stone Gaming over here. Unfortunately. Portal key picked up by Magnus, as there you go. Just talking about that. Solstice, what you got? I mean, it seemed like he had actually a pretty good start, but hasn't been really able to excel this game, however. You know, 0-2-2, obviously those 2 deaths is really slowing things down, I'm sure. Only 4 kills in total this game, man. Coming up to 17 minutes in. It seems like it's been, for the most part, a pretty passive, laid back, let's just get the farm on game here in game number 1, and I gotta think that's ultimately to the benefit of our Legion side here, but...
Oh yeah, I guess, I mean, they do have Solstice and Gemini as well on the side of Nullstone Gaming, but I think the main reason why we didn't see a lot is that the early lane rotations from Reason would have been hard to really gank. Like, Magnus is hard to gank with a Swiftblade, for example. Bubbles is kind of hard to gank as well, particularly with like a Clanks. Behemoth was the only one who had that lockdown, for example, and Rally didn't want to leave top either, because then they would have lost a lot of experience and would have been a little bit obvious if, you know, the Rally started rotating over. So, and for Nullstone Gaming, they had the jungler in Solstice, so they could easily sit back and farm. So
yeah, and
there was only one use of smoke, which was by the Magnus. And another thing that's just quite interesting is I said I was talking to Fusen the other day, and me and him were talking about Railed Rot, and we sort of came to the conclusion that I think that the top team nowadays will be the people who utilize Veiled Rot effectively, the most effective. So,
yeah.
And I said, and it's quite funny because he said, if there is one time where I think we can beat Sync, it's because of the Veiled Rot, because it's almost a buff to our team because they are very aggressive in that respect, and it's kind of interesting how Balance Patch can sort of buff a team. But we was talking to him about that, and he said, yeah, it really does benefit our team in that respect. So
well,
cool.
You know, if there's one major difference, big difference between competitive play and TMM scene, it's vision, honestly. Vision is always stressed in the competitive scene, especially. You know, we see Bound Eye pickups all the time. Constant counter warding, constant wards being placed down to make sure that vision's there. So when a tool is implemented into the game that gets around all of that vision, yeah, I would like to think that's going to be a very impactful, has a chance at least to be a very, very impactful item amongst the top teams that do like to use it. So I definitely can see where Fusion's coming from, and you know, perhaps we will see that later on today. It's safe to say that I'm sure Sync, you know, they're going to plan for it as well, whether they use it themselves a bit or if they just simply make sure to try to counter it as much as possible. That's the thing. It is difficult to counter because, of course, the ultimate purpose is that it's you get to go around both Water Sites and Water Revelations here at the same time. So, bottom lane. Oh, Magnus. He's going in. Portal key action. Okay, yeah, he's going to set it on a Behemoth. Quick burst damage comes out. Behemoth could not react to that. Rhapsody also going to probably fall victim right here, as yes, it's slick enough to take her out. Drench picks up the double tap, and they'll get the hell out of there. So double portal key. We're starting to see the movement now from Nullstone.
Yeah, and it's still going to be expected. Bubbles actually went straight portal key. Actually, he's going to pick up his steam boots now instead. But a good play, honestly. Sometimes we normally see steam boots first and then portal key, but sometimes you get that early portal key that it's almost like a surprise, and when you get a big kill after that, it's definitely worth it in that respect. And reason they just weren't prepared for it, but simply Rhapsody was in the vicinity, but Bulbous is such a good counter against Rhapsody, because even if Rhapsody started channeling the Protective Melody, then it would have been cancelled anyway. So yeah, just good gank from Nelson. It frees up a lot of farm on Gemini as well and opens the map.
Bottom tower gets taken out with these there for Nullstone. So yeah, well played by Nullstone indeed as a whole right there. 1,600 gold saved up by Embry in the meantime, playing that swift play. Portal key, of course, picked up by Rally, and he's going to try to use it right here. Let's say that Capel comes out. The seismic slam on top of the Behemoth Fissure stun, and Zane gets credit for the kill right there himself. So yeah, Fuzzy Sloth overstaying his welcome a little bit, and just like he surprised them with his portal key, I think he was a little surprised that Rally had that portal key right there and able to use it to set up the kill ultimately. So Well played by Zane. Another disconnect. Jeez, this is just a game of pauses here, man, unfortunately. You see the Legion team even throwing out the pause there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Null's out of pauses, and I think Reason may be out of pauses themselves, too.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. It's one of those. Yeah, see, I mean, this is just one of those cases, though. It's like, is it the server or is it just them, their own internets? It's hard to tell, unfortunately.
Probably be the only internet, otherwise Reason would be in.
Yeah.
But I don't think Reason have had any kind of issues. Normally you'd assume that it'd be affected by both teams if it was the server.
Yeah, it's almost worse that if it's their internet, because if it's a server, you know, we've had cases where we got a team behind the scenes that can pop in to help fix the server here. If,
got connections, man.
Got the connections here, but yeah, if it's their personal internet, not much we can do, unfortunately, to help with that. But that's part of the game, of course, part of the game. So, yeah, again, here we are. What is cycle number 6 of the final weekend? Again, 2 more cycles to come here, and you know, once again, just kind of keeping an eye on the standings. Did they actually get fixed, by the way? It looks like they did get fixed here. The standings, that is, as far as that's concerned. And let me set this up real quickly. 1 second. There we go. So as you can see on the standings right here, guys, you can check it out for yourself at HauntTour.com. But, of course, Sync Esports sitting very comfortable in that top spot. Willowkeeper at BMG, 25-point difference. That's a very, very close difference,
crazy,
especially with this system here. But
that's going to drop, though. Yeah, with BMG
drop.
Dropping down. Exactly. With BMG dropping to... Man, I still can't get over the fact that they dropped to gold, man. Like,
yeah.
Just like thinking of players like Haxerid and that Tank Affair and then them being in gold just doesn't feel right, man. It's just crazy.
Minimal points this cycle on top of not really able to get that many points next cycle. It really is going to hurt them. I mean, that's going to at least drop them down to 4th, 5th place, I think, for now. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in 6th, 7th place by the time cycle 8 rolls around, and they're going to have some big finish there. So, again, as far as what all this means, it's still waiting to hear the exact idea of what the next stage is. Like I said, last season, I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty similar to how last season worked. The first place team gets the automatic bid to the World Finals, and then the something like 2nd through 17th will play in a bracket. Again, this is me just completely speculating. That's how it worked last season. So I don't know if that's going to be the same this season, but here in the near future, that will be announced, I'm sure, as far as how that's ultimately going to play out there. But the point being, the higher seed you are, usually the better off you would be. So it is important there. To get the higher seed. There's no doubt that is going to be an advantage. Well, look at this right in the bottom area. There's several wards right here. Actually, TPS Price is going to counter ward to Dreads. Speaking of wards, another change coming out that I love that ward change too.
Oh, yeah, that is quite cool.
Half gold back on a full ward that last 6 minutes there.
I mean, it really does sort of encourage and emphasize like good support play in terms of like placing decent wards so they're not countered, for example. And who knows, man, we might see some like really interesting wards because of it. So
yeah, that is the idea, at least, of course. So that's going to be fun to see how that impacts support players overall. Like, yeah, I even said in that podcast, I mean, hell, more gold infused in, especially for supports, I'm just fine with personally. I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, like we see, what do we got? Plated Greaves, Rhapsody was actually pretty big compared to an empath who has Striders and a power supply. So it's like, okay, I mean, that's good, but
they need some love. They need some love.
Exactly. They need to be able to get Codex here.
Yeah.
And nuke people down.
Man, Codex is so strong. I don't know if people never pick it up. Like, I think it's because it's got like a kind of like a stigma now that like no one picks up because everyone thinks it's bad. But I think it's a good item still.
Yeah. Middle lane. Are we gonna see something here? Rally. Yeah, he has Viled Rod, but
I think recent could see that they got Portal Key on Behemoth, and they did actually use Veiled Rot on Rally. This could perhaps be something. Although I think they're going to bait it though. Solstice is prepping for an ultimate.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
That's big right here. Capella. No, the take cover. Beautiful reaction from Hudson. Behemoth's like, take over this bitch. He comes out. Fissure Stun lands, and well, no Fissure Stun even needed actually, as Bubbles just disintegrates there at the end. Well played by Recent Gaming as a team. Basically, everyone ends up here. Nier actually gets credit for that kill, and it continues. The chase is on Gemini. He has a Geometer's Bane, but again, use that Magnus with the counter eruption. Gemini does fall though, and Magnus also going to go down. The fight is real for Reason Gaming. They come out on top big time, 6-4 hero kill advantage now, and they may just keep this going. I mean, it's a 3-for-0 exchange in that battle alone. Why not? Why not push the secondary tower?
Yeah, it's honestly a little bit questionable from Nullstone. Like, Bubbles instantly gets bursted down, which is fine, you know, it's a good play count for Reason, but then Nullstone try and take a team fight 4v5. The Magnus eruption didn't do too much, honestly, because obviously the Swiftblade was probably the main target, but he had the magic community from the Blade Frenzy anyway. I mean, they are going to repel this tier 2 tower, it looks like, but they still take the tier 1 top, and they might try and take the enemy Ancients as well, so...
Yeah, that's just a huge resource boost in favor of Reason Gaming, of course, and again, in a game where, you know, both teams, they have very solid late games. We're kind of going over earlier. A team that's going to have the bigger advantages, well, the obvious that if they're excelling going into that stage. And right now, Reason Gaming definitely taking advantage of that. Clanks 485 gold per minute, nearing that 500 GPM mark. You got Swiftblade also up there, nearly 400 GPM himself. You do see Clanks, he got the Firebrand. Looks like, I mean, he has enough for a full Shrunken's Head now, if that's what he chooses to go for. Top lane, nope, Bubbles just kind of harassing a little bit before falling back right there. But now there's also a Firebrand picked up on Embry playing the Swiftblade, as we mentioned his farm earlier. So you look at bigger items coming out here on the Hellborn side, sure, Geometer's Bane, but again, even Geometer's Bane on Gemini, it's always kind of just a interesting item to see. Is oh no, what you got DCs again? And they do not have any pauses, so that's they're somebody else is microing him right there, because there's not much they can do about that. Well, I mean, that's good that they realize that. I'm sure Drentz is the one picking him up.
Yeah, just gonna farm my Ancients with him, which is fine, to be fair. Like, in terms of this sort of farming phase, there's not much else like someone else could be doing in terms of playing him, but this is unfortunate, obviously, nonetheless.
Yeah, you hope that he just reconnects ASAP, keeping an eye on that timer right there, because the absolute worst case is that he just gets DC for so long that his hero gets, well, deleted from the game. So that's happened before. It's never a good thing, and I don't think we're going to be seeing any 4v5 wins here. You know, the KD gaming example. that is old school right there. Yeah, middle lane you see Veiled Rock coming out, but
trying to kill Solstice.
Yeah, trying to take advantage of the DC. No, I mean, hey, you can't blame them. There you go. Looks like he's back. All right. So at least he has control of his own character gun, but Behemoth's going to go elsewhere now. Maybe find Magnus. Magnus actually getting away just before that, though, so never mind. Not going to be happening.
I mean, for Reason Gaming, though, in terms of them pushing towers, they might have a little bit of an issue in terms of straight up pushing the towers because they're going against a Solstice, and Solstice is one of the best tower defense because of that. You know, getting the good position. You know, the Lunar Judgment can do so much work. Oh, my Behemoth is going in the lane though.
Bubbles, I don't know if he stands much of a chance. He is going to use to take cover. Great response actually coming out. Behemoth isn't falling, and so does Swiftblade. So great bait coming out there ultimately from Nullstone. Double damage Gemini, a big reason for that turn, as well as Magnus landing a big stun as well to start that off. So now, Insanitarius Solstice, he's going to lead. This is going to be a Conquer kill. No questions asked for Nullstone Gaming. So just when you think Reason Gaming it wins a huge final that they did, but going to gain a lot of momentum, all of a sudden Nullstone comes back with a couple of picks of their own. And now they're going to have a token of life as far as picking up right here. Gemini actually going to be getting it here. So that's quite the turn in favor of Nullstone. This is clearly, this could definitely end up one of these games that just constantly goes back and forth between these two teams. Just when you think one team's starting to pull ahead a little bit, not so much. Not so much.
Still, the Reason get a decent trade, though. They take the tier 2 tower top now, and they've got the complete map control. The tier 1 tower mid is actually still up, which is honestly one of the strongest points in terms of map control, because it just allows you to sort of take control of the map from anywhere in terms of that tier 1 tower. I'm surprised Nullstone Gaming didn't try and take that, though. They had the token on Gemini. Tower was about 20% anyway, but I guess just afraid of Reason altogether. But this token on Gemini is going to be really, really big. The reason being is because he's quite low HP already, so he's definitely capable of getting picked up. Oh, rally.
Yeah, that's kind of an awkward jump in right there from Magnus. He actually does get the invis. Great dodging coming out. And ultimately is going to use it and be fine. So That was Cholo Simon going kind of YOLO mode right there. Ends up working out as he falls back before too much happens there in the end. But yeah, so they choose not to take advantage in a sense of that token right away, but gonna play a little bit more of the passive style. You know, feeling more comfortable with that for the time being. 3.5 minutes remaining now on the token alive, and 2,400 gold saved up on Gemini. So it's always intrigued to see what he goes for next. You know, something like that Behemoth art even. Or Frostwolf Skull, okay.
I think that's what something that BB Banging likes to do. He either goes Frostwolf first and then follows up with the Geos, or the Geos first and follows up with the Frostwolf, and then I think he goes Heart after that. But yeah, I mean he's got token now, and it's probably the best person to put it on them because he's still quite squishy, and until he can farm up the Frostwolf, it's nice to have that little bit of security with the second life. So.
Behemoth. He wanted.
I think. In terms of the sort of pushing towers, I think both teams are going to have a little bit of a bad or hard situation because neither team have the greatest pushing lineups in terms of like there's no Ophelia, there's no Tempest, for example, but both have great defenses. Like for Hellborn, it's going to be the Solstice. Obviously, you can get in a good position. The Lunar Judgment can do so much damage, but for Legion, it's going to be the Behemoth. Like both of these heroes work so well in terms of tower defenses because if Behemoth sort of clumps up, or sorry, if the push starts clumping up for the creep wave, it's going to do so much damage, obviously, because it's like 50 or 45 extra damage per unit involved. So perfect in terms of the tower defenses when the creep wave sort of clumped up.
27.5 minutes in. You see Quincy pointing out right there that this happens to be Embaboy's first game as Clanks. It seems like a hero that is pretty fitting for him, though, as a player especially. You know, 2-0-2 here, 533 gold per minute. Again, in the sense that he's just all about kind of flash farming, a very mobile carrier. Anyways, point being, he's in the middle lane right now, and actually that first tower even still being up, as you're pointing out earlier. It's going to remain up here now, 28 minutes into the game at this point. He actually has a quick blade even on top, or dancing blade, excuse me, on top of it all with the wing bow around the corner, definitely. So.
The item synergizes so well with Clanks though. Like him and Silhouette are one of the two best wingbow carriers because if we Magnus, no, he should be fine. Just farming the neutral. Yeah, it's one of the two best sort of wingbow carriers because if they can sort of sit in the background and do this much damage and not get picked off, then they'll be in such a good position. And although 100 range doesn't seem a lot, it can be useful in terms of extra positioning, which he does need. Bubbles though.
Yeah, this is bait. This is bait though. Magnus is nearby. Bubbles, he's gonna be caught. Can he survive the initial onslaught? No, he cannot.
Not good bait if he dies.
I mean, the idea was there to be bait, but yeah, he wasn't able to take cover in time. He just simply got caught, and Magnus could not react as a result of it. So there's potential, but a great job by Recent Gaming. And for all they know, that was just simply Bubbles pushing. No bait attempt even there. So.
Man, Behemoth is so good though. Like I think he initiated. Like I think it's nighttime, so I think Bubbles didn't even see Behemoth before he even initiated. Like the 1200 range on Fisher does so much work, and then he can follow up with the shockwave as well, man. Like Behemoth is doing a lot of work this game, to say the least. He's only 1, 2, and 4, but like just the ability to initiate like with a support from so far away, like no other support can really do that, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, the range on that, it's ridiculous, and. I want to say, I mean, something changed with this hero a long time. I think it always, or like before, it actually even used to be 8 seconds at a level as well, as far as how long it lasts for. But anyways, actually, Swiftblade, he gets caught at the top lane. Looks like Magnus and Solstice coming together. Golds may help get a kill out of him. And Swiftblade going to fall right now. 2,400 gold saved up on him, though, despite that death. So again, Gemini doing what he can. 4,200 gold now saved up. Yeah, okay, the token just wears off right there. So, yeah, choosing not to really make the best use of it. He actually picks up the Ice Brand, so you're all right. He is going to be going the Frosted Skull here. But not able to get it fast enough to try to maybe use with that token.
I guess they just feel afraid from the Behemoth. The Behemoth initiation. I guess it is so hard to sort of push into a Behemoth because of the Fisher decent counter push, but also the initiation factor as well. But I don't know what kind of item they want to wait before they start pushing. Perhaps the Shrunken Head on Solstice, or perhaps the Sheepstick on Bubbles. But or maybe just to wait till Gemini is a little bit more tanky, a little bit more farm, so he can survive the initiation from Reason. That could be the sort of mindset behind Trent at the moment.
Yeah. Behemoth. Middle lane. Is this a bait? I don't think it is. Gemini, he's in trouble. Are they going to... Oh, I thought they were actually going to go right there, but no. See, it's one of those cases. They probably felt like there's no way he's just doing that by himself. I mean, they kind of were nearby, to be fair. It's not like they weren't completely out of the area, but I thought they could.
I don't know
have
if
a
they can.
chance.
I don't know if they can even kill Gemini though, because if they don't kill him in terms of full to nothing, he's just going to twin flanks away and should be fine. And if they dive up to that, then that could be very, very risky in terms of going against Magma Disruption or Solstice.
Yeah.
Breath of Soul. So.
Empath inside Gemini. Again, it's getting close to that Frostal Skull now. They're going to the top lane, but Rally falls back before he gets caught out. He has a glowstone. You see the Quick Blade picked up, so that's Staff of the Master. It's in the works right here, and getting closer and closer. And again, we can stress out how powerful it is on him. Increases the radius, as well as just the damage itself. And do they have a Soul's Bulwark here on this Legion team? They do not. I feel like that's something they're missing out on right now. They got a lot of physical presence, but no Soul's Bulwark on either side for that matter. That's actually pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, who could really pick it up? Behemoth needs a portal key, and he couldn't really go Soul's Bulwark. Rhapsody's too poor, and the only really alternative is Rally or Swiftblade. Rally, I think, honestly, the staff is a little bit more prioritised over the Soul's Bulwark. He will go it, but after the Staff of the Master. And if Swiftblade goes Souls, then, like, it's not really a natural Soul's Bulwark carry, for example. So I think the only alternative is Rally, but I definitely prioritise Staff over Souls. It just does so much more work.
All right, that's fair enough. Yeah. Rally, okay. Magnus nearby. Rally with that advanced Solstice. He's going to be gone on. There's the counter, though, from Magnus. Will it be enough to ultimately save him? Predictability comes out. That's not really mitigating anything, though, because they're on the run here. Magnus and Solstice still trying to get away. Look at Clinks' damage, though. The Lackey assisting. Not going to be enough for any kills, though. Gemini, he kind of goes in to see what's up, but he, too, will have to fall back. So no kills happening, despite a perfect initiation from Recent Gaming. That's exactly what they were looking for. But again, great teamwork and good job by Magnus being on his toes right there.
That was just good counter initiation from Magnus. Like, if he doesn't stun there, that Solstice would have instantly blew up. But this game feels really weird to me. Like, it's 33 minutes in, it's only 7 kills. I don't know about you, it just feels so different or so weird. I don't know why I get this feeling, but I don't know. It just feels weird, don't you think? Like 7 to 7, 33 minutes in.
That's what I was saying. This is clearly just going to be one of these games where it's like it seems like one team is on top, and all of a sudden they're going to lose a fight, and it's going to be the other team. This is going to be a swinging game. I mean, here at this point in the tournament especially, it's not too surprising to see that, but at the same time, it's 33.5 minutes in, only 14 hero kills for what seems like should be overall a pretty active game because of the makeups here. But
I think it does sort of favour Reason a little bit, because I think Reason are the team to get a little bit more aggressive compared to Nullstone, and with them just out farming Nullstone, to put it simply, like Clanks is nearly 200 GPM more above the Gemini, which allows him to have almost 2 or 3 more items than him, and Solstice is getting out farmed by the Swiftblade, and I think Reason are going to maybe pick up the Stronger Head on Swiftblade and look to go from there. They will need to take Kongor first though, because they will not be able to push up high ground without that kind of significant advantage.
Yeah. Going to get away before he gets caught out right here. Bigger items being picked up across the board. You got a Shrunken Head just finished on Magnus, actually. Getting one for himself. And again, that seems to be a popular follow-up, especially already with the Portal Key and the tablet on top. Again, it goes back to the idea of a Soul's Bulwark on either side, and Magnus could be a candidate, technically. We do see him even filter to a Demonic Breastplate eventually. But choosing to go that Shrunken Head route here to kind of counter what all the magic and the stun damage that, or the stuns in general that this Legion team brings here. Gemini, of course, the full Frost Skull finished. And Solstice, I feel like he should have something else. He's had the Brutalizer now for a little bit.
He's only got 300, it's only 300 GPM,
Yeah.
too fantastic. So.
Not doing the best in that sense. There is going to be a Sheepstick, though, coming out here soon for Bubbles.
I think that's going to be probably one of the biggest items for Nullstone, though. Oh, actually, Hellborn Ancients, Solstice.
Yeah, they're going in right here. The wall off from Empath. Solstice, not so much. He's going to be caught out. And Empath is like, not much more I could have done there, buddy. Gonna get the hell on out of there. Gonna stride on out.
Yeah, this is going to be Conqueror as well. What were we talking about again? I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about something.
Sheepstick on Bubbles.
Sheepstick, that's it. Sheepstick and Bubbles. That's honestly going to be one of the biggest things, because Clanks does so much damage in these team fights, and unless you actually control him down, he's going to be doing too much damage in these team fights, put simply. I mean, with the token, it's going to be very, very hard to really take these team fights against Reason, but with the Sheepstick, like, at least they had ways of dealing with the Clanks before he put the Stronger Head, because he's only got 1500 HP. Like, if they get a good initiation from Bubbles and then into a Magnus stun and maybe Gemini sort of chomping on him as well, he can easily fall, but with this token it's going to be very, very difficult to actually deal with him. No? He's got the Wolf Commander behind him as well, actually.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
making use of that Whispering Elf, and I love that. I mean, Wolf Commander, I really continue to think is one of these minions that's underrated even, just because of that base damage it applies, man. And in this case for Clank, since he controls it, it might die off right here. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know what? Screw this. I'm done with it. I don't need that extra attack damage. I'm just going to let it die. Magnus, oh, nice juke by him. I think that just happened to be good timing. Or coincidence even, but... yeah, what can they do, man? I mean,
they can't initiate. Yeah, they can't initiate on Clanks because he's so in such a good position because of the Wingbow, and he's got token as well. I think they're just going to lose Rack, so they're going to go in though.
Gonna go, but again, don't use too much. That's actually going to get popped by Magnus right here. Got token of life on Clank, so got to be careful about that. Magnus trying to channel the eruption and gets it off. He is going to fall shortly after, though. They do get the kill on Clanks. He will come back up, however. Rally picked up in the background. Clanks now pounding in the right click. Auto attacks, he pops ultimate as well, but the brutalizer proc from Solstice isn't enough. No, it's not. Clanks will survive, but Gemini says, I'm going to win this battle, and forces him away, and down goes Clanks. Actually, a double tap for Beaver Pinger. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, man. It just when it seems like one team has a good push going, a token of life push, all of a sudden they get pushed back, and now Nullstone has some momentum.
I have to admit, that team fight was simply won by the Magnus and the Bubbles there because they shut down the Behemoth and the Rally. Like, Rally and Behemoth didn't get either of their ultimates off there. Like, Behemoth was looking to get ready for a jump, but then Bubbles just got him with the Kelp Field and then took his portal key off with I think the Song of the Sea as well. And like when you have, like, heroes like Bubbles and Magnus, when they can actually stop the initiation from the enemy team, like the team fight is going to be instantly won because the only one who's doing damage in that team fight was Clanks, but they jumped on him, put simply, and they can kill him straight after the token. Just at the same time, you could even argue that Behemoth and Rally were in bad positions because they got picked off by the Magnus and Bubbles, and when you stop the enemy team using their initiation tools like Rally and Behemoth, then they're not going to win these team fights, put simply.
Yeah, 38 minutes in right now. Again, a 3,800 gold lead in favor of Recent Gaming, but the way that fight finished, definitely not feeling too comfortable how that lead in itself is really not that big in the end. Again, the experience basically identical at this point, so really this is definitely just going to come down to just bigger plays here. Better initiation definitely going to be a big part in what is game number 1 right now of this best of 3. And I think I just saw, actually the Malphite just purchased by Clanks right here, so we're going to see that Symbol of Rage coming out here in the near future. He's just sitting on that Firebrand, so choosing not to go the Geometer's Bane in full here. Instead prioritizing elsewhere. Gemini, okay, he's Invis. That's an actual Invis rune there. Jeez, that Rev 4, man. Gemini, if he went to the left, he would be dead right now, or at least being jumped on, but he's like, no. Something just doesn't feel right. And he goes the other way. And we'll go to farming. We'll Beaver Banger. So Staff of the Master, of course, finished on Rally. Kongor, of course, not up yet. That would be the third Kongor kill eventually, once he does come back up. But yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit here before that takes place. But yeah, what do you think about the prioritizing here by Clanks, choosing to just pass up a Geometer's Band, even getting a Wingpo, now even a Symbol of Rage?
Well, I think first of all, he needs to go the Shrunken Head because there was too much magic damage coming from Nullstone, so he sort of delayed the Geos by that. Secondly, like, I think there wasn't going to be a lot of team fighting. I think that's what he felt like, and obviously he was correct in that respect. And Wingbow is a little bit of a better farming item than Geos. And then now he's taking these team fights, he realized that he needs to get tanky, so the Symbol of Rage was the sort of normal pickup. And sort of Symbol is decent against the Sheepstick because although short of Sheepstick counters the Shrunken Head, at least he's so tanky from the Symbol of Rage innately because of the 25 extra strength. He can sort of perhaps survive in the Sheepstick initiation from Bubbles.
Where do they catch right here? That was just a Rhapsody. Double damage Gemini. Leading the way with that. Rhapsody just happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And now they're just going to clean up what was only a single stack Ancients. But yeah, I see TPS Price is putting on a Rev 4, trying to maybe counter one right there. But does cost her life. Life of a support indeed. Coming out right there. Middle lane. This is going to be a tower kill. There's no way Recent Game is going to stop this, especially against a double damage Gemini. Really not worth it at this point of the game, so I'm going to give it up here. Well, at least delay it as much as possible with the invulnerability. Maybe deny? No, not worth it. There's an easy tower push, and Nullstone, again, they're not going to force it any further themselves. I'm sure Kongor level 3 is going to be a very, very big target here for both of these two teams as soon as he does spawn here in the next...
It's going to be Bananas as well.
Yep.
So, even more important. And seeing as both teams are sort of running dual cores, the Bananas will be actually a big pickup as well. It'll be useful for the Solstice and for the Swiftblade, respectively.
Yeah. I still can't get over, man. I mean, I know your point earlier about just the candidates not being there necessarily, but man, no Soul's Bulwark on either side is just for how much physical presence is there is this game.
Rally will start picking up now. I just think Staff was a little bit more impactful. Like we didn't see it in the last team fight because Bubbles and Magnus did a great job in shutting down the Rally and Behemoth. But if Rally and Behemoth got their spills off, they would have won that team fight. And they could have took Rex, even if not the game, honestly. So. Yeah. I can't stress how important Bubbles and Magnus' job is here for Nullstone. If they can stop the Behemoth and Rally using their spells, then they're going to almost win the team fight. Because that team fight last time was like 3v5 because Behemoth and Rally had no impact because of the Bubbles, put simply.
Yeah.
Because I think like if Behemoth and Rally get their spells off, they're going to be a lot more useful than the Magnus and the Bubbles. But Bubbles can stop the initiations from Behemoth and Rally, whereas they can't do it the other way around, kind of thing. So, like you said, Break, it's going to be depending on who gets the better initiation, for example, and who has better positioning.
That's going to be a big key, but I'm even looking at this Hellborn team now, too. Solstice, he would be a candidate, if any, to perhaps get the Soulsborg, but he is prioritizing the Shrunken Head here, which, again, it's understandable. But that does mean no Soulsborg for even a little bit longer now on this Hellborn team at this point.
He's got Abyssal, though. He does have Abyssal, so some kind of
True.
physical. But the same like Clanks doesn't do that much physical damage, honestly. I mean, he's doing a lot now, but mainly it's a lot of magical, though. Like the Goon Squad, the Lackey, the Thunderclaw, for example,
yeah,
even
that's
the Bane.
fair.
It's a lot of magical damage, outside of, obviously, the Swiftblade. And even he does quite a bit, obviously, with the Blade Frenzy, for example. And like normally magical damage is a lot more important early game because, obviously, it does more damage, put simply. But now in the later stages of the game, physical presence will be a lot more sort of emphasized, and so more Soulsborg will start to be picked up, for example.
Well, here comes a counter push on either side. I mean, it seems like this is going to work out much better for Reason, though. They don't have that secondary tower to worry about, so I don't know about this by Nullstone. They're trading a secondary top tower for a base tower at this point. And they are going to start porting back, though. So they do get the tower go, not necessarily going to be an absolute trade. I don't know if they're going to stop this, though. Bubbles just quickly harassing.
I think Behemoth and Rally needs to have a little bit better positioning, sort of stay a lot far back. Because if they jump on the Clanks, I think they can have greater counter initiation. But the last time they just got caught out from the Bubbles and the Magnus. And I know Nier and Zane want to be close to Imberboy, but if they're too close, it's going to end up backfiring. So they need to have perfect positioning. Because put simply, Clanks and Gemini are going to sort of cancel each other out. But it's going to be all on the initiators, I think, this game.
Mm-hmm. Magnus and Gemini kind of patrolling out right here, seeing if they can find any information. They may find some soon, but no, Swiftblade is going to port out before he does get any kind of caught right there. He got the port aside, did spot him, but Gemini, of course, couldn't get there in time. Neither could Magnus. Gemini, though, 3,000 gold saved up. I mean, you look at this inventory, obviously he's still sitting on an iron shield here. They might as well keep it, I guess, until you absolutely don't need it, and that's probably going to be sold here next, as far as his next tier item. And yeah, Behemoth's Heart.
It's just so natural. It's kind of interesting though, with like I was gonna say in the draft, but Empath and Gemini don't have the greatest of synergies because obviously once Gemini splits, Empath jumps out. But I mean, I think Gemini is sort of more focused on staying in the main dog form because he's picked up the Shrunken Head. Because obviously, if you're just splitting into multiple forms, then Shrunken doesn't work either. But in this case, obviously, you can take a benefit of the Empath and then obviously the Shrunken as well. So.
Double damage room bottled up in Magnus. He's going to hand this over to Gemini. And this could be pretty good timing with Kongor.
Man, how many times does this guy have DD? Like, yeah, I think I've had 4 or 5 DDs already just this game. Oh, God.
Again, that goes down to rune control, though. Rune control is a lot more than just the first 10 minutes of the game.
It's true. Yeah.
You keep that up throughout, and you will definitely benefit from it. So.
DD can honestly win team fights. Like this whole they're kind of playing like a mirror matchup, and any slight advantage you can get over your enemy will be very, very important in this strategy. So, DD on the Gemini, for example, could make them win team fights if they're not careful.
Again, I'm just keeping an eye on that Kongor pit, waiting to see when he does ultimately pop back up, and especially with this double damage now at Gemini, if he's able to hold on to that until that happens. Although both teams are heading away from the Kongor pit now currently, so I guess maybe I was a little bit too soon expecting of him possibly popping up right here. Instead, they're going to farm elsewhere, and Gemini will just quickly clean up what was the top lane farm. There we go, though. There's the Kongor spawn, and actually, recently came right pretty much at it as soon as it does. Not going to be going for it, though, yet. Of course, again, Nullstone does have the Hellborn advantage, and especially when a game is so even, that definitely could play a big role here.
They need bound eye so badly on either Reason or Nullstone. Like if they have bound eye, they can just sweep the Congo pit, and if there's no wards, they can take this. Like Nullstone have been sitting here not knowing whether this Congo's been taken or not. But if Reason have the certainty that they have no vision, they could have took Congo by now already. And then you were saying before how important vision is, but like you can snatch Congo if you have the certainty that they don't know what's going on, kind of thing. So very very important pickup for TBS Priceless or near.
Okay, I was going to say, Gemini had some illusions right here, but not really using the full effectiveness, not really beating much out. But anyways, here we go. Double damage Gemini.
Look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, now they know that they can just sit here. And Nullstone have no idea. Like, they have to sort of ease in with maybe one of the Clank solutions. But, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but it's not amazing in that respect. It's not as good as a normal Band Warden. Once these illusions die, then they have no way of getting him. I'm kind of surprised he actually sort of just suicided these illusions, because that's the only way they can see into the Congo pit. Oh, they need to kill this one.
Alive.
Kill it.
Powerful illusion, man. Okay, finally. Gonna be killed
because
out.
just not knowing the HP of Congo is a big deal, because now Reason have kind of YOLO in, and when you YOLO in, it's going to be very, very dangerous, because you're going to not have the greatest initiation. The rally's seeping in, though.
Veilrod's powerful in this case, and they're going to take advantage of it right there. Capel through. Oh, he went over the ledge, though. I don't know if that was planned. However, here's a counter initiative. Behemoth gets locked down. He eventually falls to the Will save Swiftfoot initially, as Clanks is doing his part as well, trying to put as much damage. It's a right-click turret battle. Ultimate coming out from Magnus already, but it looks like the right-click is going to be more powerful for a Legion team, as Gemini already falls back. They do pick off Magnus in the end, and Gemini just too much damage. He had to get the hell on out of there. So Kongor, it's going to be, well, attempted to be killed. I mean, Gemini's still kind of nearby. He's not going to risk it, though. Not worth it, and down goes Kongor. What happened?
Bubbles?
Oh, Bubbles, actually. Wow, yeah, he was hanging around. That was a good job by Swiftplay, paying attention to Bubbles, preventing him from getting a good ninja attempt right there. So drops a Thunderclaw, by the way, does
I like it.
Clanks.
The reason being is because now this gives them some kind of CG mechanic. Like if he has, he had no more item spaces, and yeah, I guess he could have maybe gave the token to Swiftblade, but I think on Clank's just a little bit better, because now he can go and start hitting the racks. But yeah, that team fight actually was looking a little bit bad for Reason, honestly, because it jumped in, but the right-click potential of Swiftblade and Clanks is just far superior to Gemini. Oh dear, Swiftblade.
He's going to get caught. That's an easy kill.
I'm surprised they even did that. Like, they're going to try and catch it. Didn't go for more.
Why is Swiftblade even up that far in the first place?
He doesn't have, Clanks could easily just took the racks there. Like, if Clanks is just hitting right-clicking the racks and everyone else is sitting behind him, Nullstone can't really go on Clanks, because if they do, then Reason will sort of counter-initiate. But then if they don't kill him, then they're going to take his racks. So it's a slight bit of questionable decisions in terms of execution. Obviously, Empath.
Yeah, Veilrod out once again. Behemoth, he got an ulti chance. He's going to use it right here. Oh, he misses! Bubbles with the portal key reaction, and now Behemoth, he's in trouble. Behemoth is going to fall. I mean, Bubbles was simply just portal keying it himself. Happened to be the same exact time, yeah. I don't even know about that, though. I get the idea. He wanted to get all three of them, but they were kind of spread by the time he did go in as well. So that was just a very antsy move by Nier right there that did not work out at all.
I mean, I have to admit, Behemoth is great, but you want to sort of take team fights in lanes, because I have to admit, the creep waves add so much damage to your ultimate, though. Like, if he's level what 6, he's level 17 now, so like 55 extra magic damage for each enemy creep or enemy unit, for example. And like a creep wave this late into the game is like 12 creeps practically. Like 55 times 12, that's nearly 600 damage practically. Like that's a lot of extra damage, and so I think they should be trying to take team fights in lanes, but obviously not.
Yeah, I thought they had a chance right there. Did not work out. I will say the last fight, too, as far as the Congo pit area, before Reason came and kind of threw themselves at Nullstone. Gemini was sitting on about 5,000 gold or so when that fight took place, and had to ultimately fall back. So, it's one of those cases where, maybe if he just was able to get that next tier item, was so close to it. In this case, he did end up going to Wingbow here. How much that could have been a difference. But yeah, going the Wingbow. I mean, we stated, usually we would see the Behemoth's heart, honestly, in this case. But
I think because, like you said, there's no Soul's Bulwark, and Wingbow is a little bit better against the physical presence from Reason. I'm assuming he's a lot more scared of Swiftblade and Clanks than he is of sort of Rally and Behemoth, because he's got the stronger head. Talking of Rally, actually, Magnus
gets caught right here. Can he actually escape? It looks like it. Hasterune doing the work right there. Something that's really standing out to me too, as I just noticed this, Drent's on Empath. He's 4-0-9. He's the only player this game not to die.
I can't remember what game he played, but remember he played Blitz when he went like 7-1 and 9
Yeah,
and literally carried his team. Like, man, Drents is a great support player, and particularly in games like this, it's so easy just to feed and die. Like, look at TPS Priceless and near like 4 deaths, 5 deaths, and that's how easy it is. But 4-0-9 is a very, very hard score to have, to be fair, in this kind of game. This late on as well. 50 minutes in, like, normally you just be feeding. But
yeah, Empath is definitely one of the better ones out there, of course, at surviving because that has
true.
one ability, but still, the fact that she doesn't have a death is definitely pretty crazy. But to her credit, but yeah, 51 minutes into this game, number 1 now, between Nullstone Gaming and Reason Gaming. Jeez, that's
cool.
an interesting record, yeah, or a stat there. 18-0, so that's very good news for Nullstone Gaming if Drents can keep that alive here.
18.
Middle lane, this is interesting because Token alive obviously on Clanks. It only has a minute left. I mean, yeah, if they're not going to go right here, then it's probably not going to be used, honestly.
I guess they're just really scared of Clanks dying twice. I mean, it did happen before, but I think that's honestly to the fault of Rally and Behemoth. They got the ones that got picked off, so they could kill Clanks once and stop Rally and Behemoth at the same time. They should be either doing one or the other kind of thing. And in that last team fight, they had both. So.
Solstice, he actually just about has his shrunken head right here. In fact, he should have it now. He's got the Mighty Blade now, 3,000 gold saved up. So yeah, gonna probably head back to base and purchase that bad boy. I assume so. I mean, saving up for a buyback at this point rather than picking up a full shrunken head seems honestly kind of silly to me. But he's not gonna do it just yet. We'll see if eventually. Okay, there you go. Yeah, just waiting for the courier to get back. That makes sense.
Doesn't have a buyback though.
Yeah, again though, that's one of those cases. If a fight's gonna happen, I think you'd rather have the shrunken head.
Yeah, probably.
Now it's a question of will he actually get to use the shrunken head? That's where it's awkward. It's like if you get jumped, you get locked down and killed. It's like, God, well, now I should have saved for the buyback.
He's not fighting any sheep sticks though, so he should be able to get it off.
Yeah.
Reason on the other against the sheep stick doubles, so.
Very true. Savage Mace, I'm sure, is going to be something both Clanks and even Swiftplay could possibly think about here, especially with that Wingbow pickup now. But God, Gemini already another 3,800 gold himself. I mean, this is a true late game carry, of course. He's up there with the best of them because of how he scales.
And I think this is where Nelson are kind of in a decent position because, like I said before, about 10 or 20 minutes ago, Clanks was like 200 GPM higher than Gemini. But after the 10 or 20 minutes, Gemini has really closed. And that's why I thought Reason were really going to sort of push their issue because they had their superior farm. But now, it's into the late game. They don't really have that advantage. And so I'm kind of surprised they didn't want to push it. I thought they was going to get pick up the Shrunken Heads on Swiftblade and Clank and go from there when they had that good timing, the power peak. But instead, just trying to make it late, I guess. And I mean, talking about late game, though, like late game Hon is just so hard to predict because there's so many mistakes that either team can make. Even though one team might have the better late game, it's hard to really call.
I think that was just on purpose right there by TBS Prices. We've seen that before. He just, for whatever reason, just wants a quick reconnect, and there you go. So yeah, not the biggest deal. Starting for whatever reason right there, but going to be fine. Bound Eye on Rally. You see again the Savage Mace on Clanks here, and as we're pretty much expecting coming out. Veiled Rot on Rally activated. Clanks actually, that's just simply an Invis rune there that he has on himself. So they're trying to find something here, but unless they catch this Bubbles out, probably not going to be the case. He's going to go to the bottom lane though, and that could be a cue to make something happen. We'll see how long Fuzzy Sloth hangs around here. Keeps them interested. Yeah, you see both Clanks and Rally heading down here. Now, Gemini is also nearby. They don't know that. Bubbles ports out, and that should be the end of a gank attempt, it looks like. Yep. Going to be able to make the escape right there. So well played by Nullstone, keeping them active as far as Reason Gaming goes, trying to go for those ganks. And yeah, look at the golden experience lead, actually. It's the biggest it's been, I believe, this whole game even. And right now, in favor of Nullstone, 5,000 gold, able to even a 10,000 experience lead here.
That doesn't mean too much though in the late game, to be honest.
They got the maxed out levels, yeah.
Exactly, they got almost maxed out levels and almost maxed out items, particularly for Clanks as well. So, not the biggest of deals, honestly. Back in the team fight era, where 20-25 minutes is where people were pushing racks. That's where 5,000 gold is so much. But in this sort of later stage of the game, it doesn't mean as much. So, stats are a little bit deceiving in that respect.
Behemoth, top lane, he's going to be fine and walks away. He's 2,400 gold saved up. Again, it's something like a spell shards, actually. I could think be pretty powerful, but also more utility is definitely important. Again, no Souls Bulwark, I'm just saying. Another
I
side.
guess he could. I mean, the only reason why I think Rally hasn't got it is like he's only got 199 GPM. Like he got that staff and he has really fallen off. I mean, I guess Swiftblade and Clanks have been sort of soaking up a lot of farm, but I saw yeah, I saw Bulwark and Rally would be decent.
God, 5,500 gold on Gemma. I mean, so what? He has a TP on him. He could definitely just get rid of that and get a Behemoth Heart here. At this point.
I think he wants to have the TP ready though, so I think he's almost going to wait till like maybe 7 or 8k and then buy the post ace and the heart at the same time.
Yeah.
Most.
That could make sense, definitely. Rally. Build Rod himself, and this is a very tense situation right here. Both teams, they know that this could be a very, very big fight with where things are at right now. Double Savage and Mace, obviously, here on the recent gaming side. Both Swiftblade and Clinks with it. But their right-click damage output is pretty ridiculous right now. And they're not going to run into each other.
In terms of team fights, I think if Rally and Behemoth get their stuff off, I think they're going to win the team fight. So it's going to be on bubbles so important to get big kelp fields or big Song of the Seas, like the initial team fight. Like when obviously Reason was pushing high ground, it failed so badly because of bubbles. But the last team fight, Behemoth and Rally were able to get their stuff off, and so they won the team fight. Put simply,
got. Clearing out the jungle once again. I mean, Nullstone really seems like they like this these longer games, man. I mean, I believe they have like the most 60-plus minute games out of any team right now. They actually have a pretty good record on top of that. I'm sure Quincy can bust that out for us. But, yeah, their Oogie games, they got, Gemini before has definitely carried it into the late game. Swiftblade, you see right here, when he's farming like he is, when he's actually not the primary carry, as he's definitely in this case. Yeah. Overall, pretty good record, 18-11, at now 422 gold per minute here in game number 1. So, but point being though, we are hitting that hour-long mark, coming up now, 58 minutes in just about.
Congo's so, up though.
Is that would be a fourth Congor? Yeah. So once again, bananas, of course. And guess what? Both teams are in the area. Second longest average game at 41.5 minutes, and Risa has the longest. So go figure. Both teams prefer the longer games, it seems like. Building around their carries here and making it last a little bit longer to get those peaks as high as possible. Makes sense, honestly. And yeah, I was a little surprised when Quincy pointed out that stat earlier that actually, especially for Nullstone, but I mean, I guess the more you think about it, it kind of makes sense that both these teams also, when it comes to average kills per minute, are lower on the charts. I think it was something like Nullstone was 6th and Reason Game was 9th out of like 12 teams on the record for that. So.
Two late game sort of titans face each other in that respect, I guess.
Yep. Not as active, and so thus the somewhat of a slower paced game here. Only 26 hero kills in nearly an hour-long game is definitely not the most active, but when there's some good money on the line as always, and advancement to at least guarantee yourself a top 3 finish, understandable. Want to really make sure they're making the smart plays here and playing fairly safe.
I'd really like to actually see either Gemini or Clank stop, counter pushing one of these lanes. I mean, I guess they probably need to have post haste just so that if a team fight does happen, they can at least be involved in it. But them just sort of standing off here, neither team, it's like a stalemate in that respect. And you kind of want one team to try and force the advantage or try and make something happen. The reason being is because I think the advantage can be taken. I guess they're just too afraid for one of them to sort of get picked off, for example. So. Just so tense. One misstep could be the difference in losing or winning a game, particularly in the late game. So.
Zane is spamming this Veiled Rot, man. I mean, he's really... It always seems like he has it active at this point. He has even 2 more charges on him right here, so he is a fan of this item, that's clear. And at this point in the game, and again, it's on paper, you might think to yourself it's like more of just an earlier game item, but no, it really is an effective tool all throughout. And vision's constantly happening, so if you have the ability to be able to get around that vision, no matter what point it is in the game, then that's going to be an advantage to yourself, of course. So Rally's trying to take advantage of it here and get that opportunity, but not really presenting itself. Nullstone is doing a very good job of making sure not to get caught out in the most awkward spots here. They know exactly that's what Reason Game is going for, so... Instead, we'll just have more gold being farmed up. Now there's that 7,300 gold on Beaver Bingham you mentioned earlier. Post haste as well as something like a Behemoth Star purchase could be very possible here in the near future. Good old Lex Talionis on Empath as well, who is still yet to die, by the way. Still remaining 4-0-9 is Drent's right here. So, but that, I'm assuming that's level 3. Yeah, Lex Talionis level 3, so a little more amp damage coming out to help at this point. Middle lane. Now they're going to go for a catch. Ugh, so it's like go back and forth, back and forth. There, they actually going to go here now. Oh, jeez. It's like both teams are just they're just about to go, and then no, they fall back.
I think Nullstone could take the jump though. They've got Sheepstick now on Bubbles and Magmus, and I think with both of those combos, they can easily burst down either Swiftblade or Clanks in one of those burst potentials, particularly if Gemini jumps on top of them as well. Oh my god, Magmus.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's really running in right here now.
Oh my god.
In a pretty good spot. They're going to try to get some vision. This is going to start things off. Empath, they're going to see her first death in the game coming out right there. Magmus does in though. Gemini with the fallout protectability though in the background. He's going to mitigate some. They pick off Behemoth. Gemini the right clicks. He's going to also go for rally. No, not going to happen. Swiftside is passing around. And Clanks, he's still full life. Good to go. Pounding in the right click. Auto attacks. The turret is real. And down goes Solstice. And once again, Gemini has to fall back. After all this tense play, man, that was just a funky start.
That was so weird. Empath literally like touched Behemoth there. It was so weird. But again, it's this Clanks, like he's not getting addressed in these team fights, and as a result, he's doing so much damage, doing 20% of all the damage in this game now, breaking. They need to be the ones jumping onto him because, like, Gemini is forced to sort of jump in with Twin Fangs, but you know, Clanks can be at the back just right-clicking people, and if you don't address him, he's going to win these team fights single-handedly. They have the ability to sort of jump on them with the Sheepstick on Bubbles and the Sheepstick on Magmus, but they're just not finding the initiation.
Very interesting item choice here by Beaverbringer. He actually goes to Genjiro, going to open up right there, but gets a miss right off the bat. Behemoth with the reaction, and now look at Gemini. He's dropping. Cleg's going to do plenty of damage. Not going to be nearly enough, though, as the Geometer Spin going to be used to get away. Bubbles also able to escape in the end, but they got what they came for with that melee racks. The range rack's going to follow, and Recent Gaming, they now take the advantage for themselves once again here. And what has just continued to be a very, very back and forth game. But yeah, just the way that fight started, man, that's not what Nullstone was definitely looking for in the end. And the long story short, Recent Gaming, happy it happened the way it did. And you see the token of life too. It goes on Behemoth. I think that line just obviously has to do with inventory here, but.
No, I mean, obviously Swiftblade could have picked up instead of Bananas, but
True.
I think they just want to make sure Behemoth can get his stuff. Oh my god.
Well, he's going to have to use it right here. that's not the plan, I'm sure, but, well then, that's awkward. So much for that strat. We wanted to make sure he's able to use his stuff, because now he doesn't have it.
They might be able to find something, actually, and perhaps get some kind of objectives off of this, though. Gemini's chasing... Oh, Bradley. Oh, my god, Bradley.
This is interesting. Yeah,
oh, no.
Rally saw him because of the Bound Eye, of course. And he's actually going to make the portal key out, so... This game,
That's so funny.
Man.
If Rally doesn't have a Bound Eye, by the way, I don't think he'd get spotted. Because Rally sees Gemini, and then as a result, the Bound Rot is popped off. If he doesn't have a Bound Eye, he doesn't see Gemini, and therefore neither of the Infus is popped off, which is quite funny. But
that's one of those rare situations that would take place, yeah. So, but yeah, no catch happening. Behemoth, he does have a buyback. He would have an ultimate also in 7 seconds, so if you're an Nullstone here, you got to be careful. This is their first time that, well, they're not even going to do it. I was going to say that they're going to at least make a little bit of a threat on the base, but no, they're just not comfortable enough, and understandably so. I mean, he's still got the bananas on Swiftblade here, as well as just overall, you know, where they're at. 61 more 100 gold saved up on Clanks now. But now, as things are slowing down a little bit, let's take a look back once again at Gemini. Again, choosing to go the Genjiro. I can't say I saw that coming here.
He'll probably sell the steam boot. He'll probably sell the steam boots and go Behemoth up because he's going to be running as fast as a normal carry anyway. Like the steam boots is only giving him 60 extra movement speed. Like he'd be running at what 417 if he goes heart, and the heart is going to be so much more useful than the extra 60. The extra 60 movement speed, I think. And he's got the Genjiro as well for X mobility. And like Gemini is one of those cool heroes that you don't actually have to go like boots on him, kind of thing. Because the Wingbow and Genjiro give him enough agility to actually increase his movement speed. So I think that's what we're going to see. Like the heart is just, like, yeah, he's going to be a little bit slower, but which could be like a slight issue because obviously Clanks might be able to kite him, but I think overall the heart is going to do a little bit more than the steam boots. But simply,
I mean, you figure with the heart right now, he'd have nearly 4,000 life at this point, and that on top of the damage he's putting out, and of course, again, being Gemini because of the elemental force, the armor pen he also gets from that is extra powerful. So Clanks, I'm sure, actually has a good amount of armor. Yeah, 29.7 armor because of the similar race, the Geometer's Bane, the Wing Bow, all that agility adding up. So, yeah, he's actually pretty tanky, honestly, in that sense. So that armor penetration could play a big role here for Gemini, definitely. And I'm kind of looking at a couple others here. Yes, Swiftblade also somewhat up there at about 20 armor. Everyone else not so much, but it's understandable. Still, that leads me back to, once again, the lack of Soul's Bulwark on either side here now, 66 minutes in. I don't know. So I get the idea of priority items with certain heroes, but man, oh man. No Soul's Bulwark at this point, it just seems like.
Riley would get it, but he's got no farm. Like, he's lower GPM than, like...
Yeah. I mean, Behemoth has been sitting on a lot of gold lately, though, at the same time. And
I think Behemoth,
if
there's going to be anyone who should go, I think it should be probably.
Possible jump right here. Fissure Stun coming out. Gemini, he's going to find Clanks, goes in with the right-click auto attacks. Again, a lot of back and forth with those right clicks. Similar rates is going to be popped. Yes, it is. Clanks is going to be fine initially. So far, Rhapsody the only one dead. Is it going to be outlast? No, he's not. Clanks is dropping. Clanks will fall. Gemini able to twin finds away. Here we go with Magnus. He ports in with the portal key, of course, the eruption. But the spin from Swiftblade. Magnus or Behemoth with a counter. Coming out with the shockwave. Bubbles take cover. It's not going to be enough, though. He falls as well as Magnus. Magnus buys back immediately, though. They got the melee racks, however. So despite even losing Clanks right there, initially he buys back, and yeah, he post-haste it in. That's why he got there so quickly once again.
That was ridiculous. Clank's illusions actually killed Magnus as well. Magnus got a good stun off after the Behemoth ulti went off, but Magnus started running back to base, but Clanks actually picked him off with the illusions, so good micro come out from Immerboy actually, realising that his illusions were still up.
Yeah. Jeez, 66,400 gold saved up on Clanks even after that buyback use. So, yeah, it was overall a fairly good fight for Nullstone, especially with them getting the kill on Clanks and Beaverbanger staying alive, but again, the big picture, they lose another melee Rax right here, and now they're down two. They're down two where they haven't even gotten a tower down in the Legion base. So, as strong as something like someone like this Gemini is, especially, it's just not there. And he actually does choose to go the post haste on top of it all, actually, as well. So, did he also rebuy his Shrunken Head? I assume he did. Looks like he rebought his Shrunken Head as well. So he actually chooses to invest the gold there.
I mean, I think I'm fine with him going post-haste, but I think he needs to utilise it in terms of trying to make plays happen elsewhere on the map, because all he's doing is sort of staying, like all Noel's trying to do is sort of staying as 5 and taking team fights as a result, and most of the team fights are in their own base, so the post-haste isn't really needed if they're taking team fights in their own base, whereas the heart would be a lot more useful, for example. Savage Mage actually picked up from Bubbles, which is quite cool to see, actually.
I just saw that myself. He's actually had it for a little bit, I think, or did he just get that? But
well, he's got 2.5k as well, so he must have had it for a while, but it's decent. But like, I think they need to start making plays with the Sheepstick on Bubbles and Magnus. Like, they can pick off anyone on the map. Like Bubbles plus Magnus plus Gemini, like they can kill anyone, like even the Clanks or Swiftblade, for example. But I guess they're just maybe just a little bit too passive, and perhaps too passive, seeing as both of their racks have been destroyed, for example. They're sitting back a little bit too defensive, honestly. When I think they have the tools to get active.
Yeah, it's no doubt that may be something that they'll look back at when this game is all said and done now. It still could be a victory for them if things work out, but obviously that is a very, very tough task to ask for right now with how things stand.
Can happen.
But anything can happen
in the late game, man. Like, the late game is just like some kind of anomaly. Anything can happen, put simply.
Yeah, it's not like they're far behind in farm. It's just simply being down the 2 racks is really the hurtful thing right now, but overall, still a very good game. Overall, Rally gets caught out right here. The Sheepstick's coming out. Mammoth's also being locked down. They get the kill on a Rally. However, Clanks, he's able to put in the right-click auto attacks, and Gemini's feeling the punch of that. He's going to go back in himself, however. Swift Slashes pass around with Swiftblade. They get the kill on Associates. They're going to pick up Bubbles as well, and Magnus also falls. All of a sudden, Gemini's left alone, and he's going to have to Twin Fangs into the base. They do have a buyback on Bubbles, but that is it.
Again, Clanks, man, he's just sitting back, like he's not getting focused, and when you don't focus him, like he singly wins team fights. Like Gemini's gonna go back in, but this could be game, put simply.
Gemini's like, yeah, maybe if anything, fight me, not the racks, but they're not gonna fall for that. They easily take on the rack. That is mega creeps, and that should be GG. Well played. Reason Gaming. It looks like they are gonna take the first game here in this best out of 3, about a 70-minute victory. It wasn't easy, but well deserved in the end for Reason Gaming, so congratulations to them. But again, it is just game 1 of a best out of 3 as Gemini. No, they're going to concede before he actually does get a death right there. So basically concede and, well, ends naturally at the same time. But
that Clanks,
Wow.
man, he was just doing too much work in the team fights. Like, when did you ever see Clanks like get low or be focused in the team fights? Like, he never was.
Yeah. Until
Like,
later on, if anything.
Exactly. And like with him not getting focused, like it almost forces Gemini to sort of like Gemini has to sort of jump into the team fight, whereas Clanks sort of sit back. And when Gemini is sort of jumping in, he's going to be the one who's getting focused. And so as a result, the target prioritization from Reason was just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And also, even though they had the tools to do it, I don't think they shut down on Clanks as effectively as they could.
Yeah, Reason Cayman's got to feel pretty good about that one, especially right there, of course. You know, here they are.